Well, I'm back in my lovely Peter Christian gentleman's smoking cap today. And also, I'm still mostly in Australian colours because the cricket has been all Australia's way, hasn't it? I wonder if England's cricketers have any idea of what they've done to English cricket, in the reputation of English cricket, in the last few days. They went to Australia with high hopes. Everyone said, okay, this is the best England side coming out to Australia since we won there in 2010, 2011. After just 6 days Test cricket, England are 2-0 down in the series. They are a complete laughingstock. Obviously, in Australia, where English cricket is usually a laughingstock there, I think, because Australia has beaten us a great many more times than we've beaten them since the contest began, right back in 1877. Well, this laughingstock business is not only in Australia, it's stretched to England. I came back to Norfolk yesterday from London and went down to the shops in the village. And people who knew me came running and said, what on earth has happened to English cricket? They were deeply upset and really rather angry. And there was one lady and gentleman who came up to me and said, we are going to Melbourne for the Boxing Day Test match, and what are we going to see? It'll probably last for 2.5 days. England will be 4 down at the end of it, and what a waste of money. Well, there we are. I know that's the luck of the draw in a sense, but nonetheless, it does show you that England's cricketers have a great leeway to make up. Well, now, what's happening? I'm sorry, I'm looking at a little bit at my notes because I can't remember everything by heart. What are England's cricketers going to do about this? Well, first of all, the management. We've got McCullum. Baz McCullum, who of course started this whole thing of Bazball, and he has made the sort of rather, how should I say, glib remark at the end of it, this defeat in Brisbane, saying, well, perhaps the troops were overtrained. You can hear the mocking laughter of that one, can't you? And then Ben Stokes, the captain, who I'm a great supporter of Ben Stokes as a cricketer and as a captain up until now, up until what's happened in Australia. Ben Stokes says there is no place in my dressing room for weak-minded cricketers. Well, if he's going to be true to himself, he's going to look for 8 replacements at least for the next Test match in Adelaide, because really the weak-minded thinking that prevailed in the England dressing room for these last 2 Test matches, in Perth first and then in Brisbane, has been simply appalling. Well, now, what are England going to do? They're going to Noosa Heads for 4 days in the sunshine on the Gold Coast to relax. I don't blame them for this, actually. I think they would have gone anyway. But when you've had 2 earth-shattering defeats like this, nets, I think, are not really going to be the answer. I think you've got to go and try and regroup mentally. And I think by having 4 days off, this does give them the chance to sit down and really think amongst themselves as to what has gone wrong. And a very considerable amount has gone wrong. I mean, after all, they were in both these Test matches, but particularly in the one just ended in Brisbane, they were out-bowled, they were out-batted, they were out-fielded, they were out-caught, and they were out-thought. I mean, first of all, the batting. Look at the way the last 4 Australian wickets added 133 in 44 overs on the 3rd morning. It was teamwork. They'd worked it out. They were going to bat time in the morning to make sure they were still there until the floodlights came on. And then when in that difficult twilight time, England were going to start their innings. And that's exactly what happened. The bowling, well, I mean, Stark has taken 18 wickets in the series. Nisa, who after all was a run-of-the-mill seamer, let's be honest, was allowed to take 5 wickets by some really inept batting, particularly from Crawley and Pope, which I'll come to perhaps in a moment. And I mean, they bowled length and line. They worked it out. They bowled a full length. England were all over the place. They were much too short. And when indeed they were attacked by the Australian batsmen, they made no conscious effort really to readjust. And it was a very, very dismal performance. And then we come to the fielding. Well, they've always been good fielders, haven't they? But look at the catching. Those 5 catches England dropped on the second day. It was really too awful for words. Smith behind the stumps, I don't know what's happened to him. I really don't. And the thing is, I mean, the only reserve wicketkeeper in the party is Ollie Pope. And Ollie Pope, surely to goodness, can't play again in this series. Well, certainly not as the number 3 batsman. I mean, he has been one of the worst culprits of unthinking, loose stroke play that's cost him his wicket when he should be getting down and really working at what's going on. Crawley was another in England's second innings. They were both, those two, weren't they? Caught and bowled by Nisa. Firm shots on the top of the bounce, playing the ball back easy, caught and bowled catches. I mean, it was disgraceful stuff. And it really one despairs. But what has gone on in the dressing room? I mean, what have McCullum and Stokes been saying to these players at the time when the battle is on, before they go into bat, at the break of innings, and indeed during the intervals? What have they been saying to them? Have they been saying to them, look, for goodness sake, forget Bazball, because Bazball really is in its death throes now, I think. I was going to say, I hope it's come that far. Have they been giving this advice, and have the batsmen been ignoring it? I mean, look at Harry Brook in the first innings. 31 runs, he was playing beautifully. He had one lucky escape when he attempted a ramp and might have been stumped, and then he goes and has a wild drive and it was a most irresponsible stroke coming at a time when it did. We desperately needed Root and Pope to go on. Root and Brook to go on. Of course, Root did. I mean, that was a wonderful innings, and it was interesting that when we lost in Perth, Root was the man who came and sat down next to his captain, Stokes, and said to him, Ben, he said, I'm sorry, he called him Ben or captain, I don't know. He said, but I'll get a big one next time, and he delivered. My goodness me, he delivered. The others, well, it's really been very, very sad. But there has been one great object lesson. When the game finished, Stokes and Jacks had really batted well on that 4th morning. They batted together, in fact, till midway through the afternoon. They batted for 3 hours. They put on 96, and they fought. And the Australians really had their work cut out and must have been getting a little bit anxious until Jacks was held by that brilliant left-handed catch by Smith at slip, with the wicketkeeper standing close, wasn't he, Carey? He was close up to the stumps, and this would have blocked Smith's vision, but he dived left and held on to a low one, a marvellous catch. But Jacks has done brilliantly. He's got a reputation as a white ball cricketer. He's played very little red ball cricket, and yet he knew what was required of him. He changed his natural way of playing, and he fought it out with Stokes. And I'm afraid I think Stokes misjudged his bowling. When he came on late, he turned to a very long way, and I think Stokes should have had more confidence and used him earlier. But nonetheless, and when you think of that extraordinary catch, he took a backward square leg to get rid of the Australian captain, Smith. I think Jacks has got to play again in Adelaide, and for the rest of the series. I admired very much the way he played cricket. So there we are. What is going to happen now? I don't know. There is one other figure in all this that I slightly query, Rob Key, who is the managing director of English cricket, and he's the man in overall charge. What is he saying to McCullum? Because, you know, I really do think that Bazball now may be in its death throes. Because, I mean, it's just absurd the way it's gone, the way it seems to have affected players' minds. They've all been brainwashed by it. And the captain and manager have got simply to try and de-brainwash them. And I really think Bazball was an era that worked for a time. It's done one great thing. It's got rid of, or jolly nearly got rid of, the draw in Test cricket, which makes it a better game to watch. But dear, oh dear, oh dear. And now I would like to end up with one story, which I think really sort of typifies, it's a lovely story, this one. It's just come to me me today, it typifies the confusion of England's side in Australia. After they lost that first test in Perth, do you remember they were winning the match at the end of the first day, and then they lost. They were winning it at lunchtime on the second day when they were 99 for 1 in real terms in the second innings. And then in 2 sessions, they lost the match in a canter. It was really awful. Well, and the day after that match, 3 of the England players, there was Bryden Cass, Harry Brook and Zach Crawley, went out to brunch at a restaurant on the waterside in Perth. And during the course of lunch, Cass, for some reason, had a great wad of dollars in his pocket, which fell out, and there was high wind on the beach. They blew everywhere, and all the women and children and the other people in the restaurant had to scurry here, there, and everywhere after Cass's dollars. Well, it somehow said to me, okay, they are earning lots of money, but my goodness me, they can't look after it, can they? They can't look after it on the cricket field either. It seemed to me to typify what has been going on. And as for the future, Adelaide, what do we expect? Well, let's hope that they can change. I very much doubt it. Well, now, Peter Christian, just remember to go to the website, get the look at the full collection of all their colourful clothes, bung in your order and mention the code word blowers, and you will get a free delivery.